No, let's start it. Ah, Tech Rabbit here. Thought I'd start a little bit on this robot arm initiative. So I think the first thing we'll try and do is to separate the parts, I suppose. Have to put them in some kind of a box. Let's see if I can get all my tools. I have no idea how easily these going to come apart, if at all. Some tape here. No! God, that rips at it. That's not such nice tape. First mistake. Alright. What have they been doing? Seems like this tape method's been used on all of these. This is not very good board they've made it out of. Anyway, this was not that expensive, so I suppose one can't. No, I think I need to take my knife for that. Oh well, one learns. Let's see now. Put those two. Oh God, small things falling off. Let's see now. That was a bit pity that I actually ripped at this now, so I've actually broken this. I might. I don't know, there's no way to take the tape off then. Which is a bit sad, I think. Because as you saw, it ripped quite badly. See? It's taken a whole layer off. So that's not so good. Why did they do that? I mean, I know it's probably easy just to keep the parts in place, but it's certainly not very good from the perspective of keeping it in good shape. Now then, if I let's see. Suppose this is all just junk then. Yeah, that was a surprise. But one learns. I suppose that needs to come out also, and it's also held on by tape. Let's see if I need to cut out the tape. So what I'm going to try and do is to not to take the tape off, and maybe even possibly glue that part, or see how it gets bolted together. That wasn't fun. Okay, so one part then. So I'm going to assume that this is junk. Not going to be used, so I'll put that on the side. Yeah, and they've done the same thing here. They put tape on. Of course, they might have had this in the instructions, because I haven't read the instructions, so maybe they do actually warn there about this tape solution. Oh, but now I know about it, then I will not rip at the tape. At least one good. Who needs to learn? pays what one gets. Oh, what's that one? Push out that one. So it's all pushed out. Just checking the holes. Oh, there's a couple of holes that need to be exercised here also. That's nice with this laser tech cutting. Well, okay. I think that's junk. Small bit of junk. Continue. Heal the parts out. So it's actually, I would say, recommended to use an X-Acto knife of some kind in this process. So keep it all together and then press from the tape side. I would assume. Try and push that out. And then here also. So let's see, what do we have here? So maybe I'll take this one next. Cut it through. It's actually only the tape that's holding it, so I can understand why they use the tape. It's just... No, wait, of course, they must of course cut this first, and then they put the tape on to hold them. I don't know if I really... Couldn't I have thought of something better? At least some kind of tape that doesn't rip the whole cardboard to bits. This is some kind of MDF cardboard, I think. As material goes. But anyway, we'll just pop out the... Cut out the stuff here. So. Be good enough. Rough job, rough thing. I can just temporarily put those down there. So, get a clean table. Push that out, push this one out. And then when you're working with an X-Acto knife, then one needs to be careful one doesn't actually push the X-Acto knife into one's finger by accident. So don't recommend to give children these knives to play with. At least not without supervision. Okay, let's go around there. Okay, coming around like that. We'll see if this is, as I said, that it didn't really cost that much. So we'll see if we get anything out of this. Let's see, did that part break? No, it's got the tape. Tape still on it. Oh, another part. I don't know what these parts are for right now. I'm just gonna cut them all out. I mean, one could leave them until one needs them, like look at the instructions and then basically take the parts as one needs them. But as this is a bit of a fiddly job, I think I'd sooner just do it, and then it creates these small little messes because one has to actually cut out these small bits. I think I'd sooner do that now and get it done with. Might be easier to assemble also. One can see the parts easier. Not exactly the most interesting task to do. Suppose it will get it built. Whoops, I nearly made the mistake I warned about. Don't put the X-Acto knife in one's finger. It's a bad idea. It actually hurt. There we go. Some more parts separated. Let's see how these are. They must have put the tape on directly when these were on the bed. Just directly after it's been laser cut. So they can actually lift. They probably need it to be able to even lift the part out of the laser cutter. I still think they could have thought of something easy. But then of course this is Chinese cheap manufacturing. So I haven't got any time for post-processing. You just want to make the parts and chuck them in a package. And then get people like me to buy them. And the picture, of course, is always 10 times better than what the product is actually. In most, except for I am quite. There are products that come from China that are actually like better quality than one would expect, and that's quite often when it comes to pure electronics, like Arduino Uno boards or Mega boards or stuff like that. It's actually surprisingly good quality. I mean, you don't find any. I looked at them under quite good magnifying glasses, and you can't really find any soldering faults or misaligned components or the usual junk that you would attribute to bad manufacturing. But I do think they have Western quality electronics manufacturing than Foxconn and other companies. Can't make junk. And why make junk if they can buy the same assembly machines that anybody else can? So basically it doesn't matter what kind of a person you have operating the machine, if it's the actual machine comes from Japan. It will make the same quality if you run it in Germany or if you run it in China, especially when talking about surface mounted stuff. And I mean, they are already the leader in making circuit boards. I mean, most of the world's multi-layered circuit boards are made in China. Oops, this is a bit tricky to cut around. Now, if I was good at video editing, then I would do a fast forward. I haven't got into video editing yet, so all my videos go out pretty much raw. Or actually, they go out raw. I haven't really found a good use case for editing just yet. I'm not really at that level. Kind of run this as as a hobby operation. I don't want to make this too serious. I do have a day job that consumes quite a lot of energy, so I make this into something that feels stressful. I might do some editing just to learn. I mean, I do have some of the tools. I think you can use the XSplit software also to edit. I purchased the license also for it. I don't know if XSplit's the best. And I mean, you can get software for free also. But I mean, I don't know. Got a perpetual license now, so whatever that means. I would say if they exist for 5 years, that's good enough for me. If I do this stuff for 5 years, then I can just as well buy a new piece of software. Move to something that doesn't cost anything. I know it's a bit of a waste buying it if one actually doesn't use the video editing capabilities. Don't know if any. I wonder if that round bit is actually needed, or is it that it's just a cutout? Don't know if that's a valid part. I'll probably keep some of the scrap bits just in case they actually turn out to be parts. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It's gonna take forever to get this one out. Don't want to bust it. Maybe I should push it out this way. Okay, that came out somewhat. Okay, wait, I need to push out those ports. Make the screw holes available. So, another part. So, let's see now. Does that look like all the parts have been removed? And this had no extra parts. Now it is possible that this will be some kind of a platform, so I think I will actually keep a hold of it, because it does have these. It does have some holes in it. So it is possible that this is the base unit for connecting the Arduino. So I won't throw any of these larger parts. I mean, this I can be pretty much guaranteed is scrap. So, little bits down there. Oh my god, look at this. Help. My. If one holds it up to the light in a specific way, then one can actually see the tape from where I'm looking. Because the reflection of the light shows where the tape is. And then we can actually, because the tape's not all over the board. It's just like haphazardly put on the board. Just enough to be able to hold it. So, it comes out. Oh, that's probably not a part. And the thing is, this kind of stuff, then you can kind of, if one would like to improve the concept, then one can actually use these as templates. So we'll build it with this thing, and then if we like the concept, then we can always make better parts. For example, 3D print a new part. Quite possible to make a copy design. That would not take that long. Print it out in PLA or some other stronger material. I think I actually posted a video about a material I bought that was basically printed with the same temperatures as PLA, but it's actually much stronger. But actually PLA in general is quite strong if you don't want to expose it to outside environment, like lots of sunlight or weather. It's actually pretty much done. I would like to own a machine shop with lathes and mills and stuff, and grinders. I really haven't got either the money or the space. It would be fun. Just thinking of trying to find a maker space. Access to a lathe of some kind would be actually nice. Wouldn't have to be the biggest lathe either. No, wait, don't throw that garbage. What's that doing here? Man, look at this. I don't know which part am I going to remove now. I'm try and cut this one, I suppose. Ask what's the benefit of cutting this stuff out with a laser when one actually has to, as the customer, go through the whole damn thing, cutting out the tape. It's actually quite irritating. They could use some material. If they were smart, they would find a material where they can cut it with a laser, and then still use the tape method, but then actually make it easier for the consumer to get the parts out without ripping the parts. Oh, I think I got it now. These smaller parts embedded in the tape is not nice. As I said, I'm making these assembly videos. You know, you can just skip this stuff and roll through it. I don't know how many people will be interested in watching this. It's quite boring, even to do it. We'll see if I post this. Probably get all the people subscribed, resign from the channel. What's this? What is this? What's he doing? We're getting bored. This is not interesting. Oh. So, what part to take next? Reflected against the light to be able to see. Yeah. Got it. Oh, this is boring. Oh, well, that could pop out, at least that part. Well, then let's see if we can actually separate any of this. This is a bit tricky, this. And the problem is I can't listen to any music and can't watch any videos because then one gets into copyright violation with YouTube. So I could have earphones on, but then I would not be able to talk to anybody. Could also do this as a live stream. I've never done a live stream before. Post it to Discord. Actually thinking to get into that also someday. Do have all the tools needed. So I think that's that one. Oh, there's one more. Pretty much the same. Let's see now. Just need to watch where the tape is. It's like there and there. Well, it makes quite a nice this laser cutting. And you can actually, it's not that super expensive to have a laser cutter. You can actually even buy the laser cutter head. You can build your own. You can just run it off a 3D printer control board. There isn't much difference between a laser cutter and a 3D printer. I mean, the software is also available. Cobble it together and configure it. But, you know, maybe a project for another day. On the other hand, I don't know if I want to have such a piece of equipment at home. They have a tendency of catching fire. Or blinding you. So maybe it's better just to buy this stuff from China. Let them take the risk. You can't actually get material cut in China also. Quite sure you can find a website where you can just load up a cutting diagram and then tell them what material you want the stuff to be made, and they'll make it for you. Can get circuit boards made remotely. So I don't know. Eck. And I thought I cut that. Why? Let's rip the material again. Sorry for the language. Try not to swear on this channel. What happened? It's like I did cut that plastic, so why did it not? Why did the tape still stay there? That's so strange. Okay, let's see what that looks like. It's still on there. It's annoying. Probably doesn't matter when we'll see if what of the tape actually needs to be removed when we assemble it. Oh, that didn't come through so good. That's the other end. It's not, there isn't any tape on this side. Didn't seem to cut it perfectly. Okay, there's one more bit needs to be pushed out. And then still this piece of tape here that's just stuck. Okay, I think I'll go right now. No, that's that. Still got a way to go. And of course with live stream it would be cool and we could exchange some ideas. No, it's just me talking to myself. Does it get caught up? Oh, it does have some jumps there. Okay, I think that might be a part. This one. Not completely sure. I don't think that one. I think this round bit is a part, but not that. And maybe this is a part. So I'll save that one. And then I'm guessing. That's just me guessing. But no, this is not a part. You can always take it back if it is, or replace it with something that's probably not necessarily the one uses exactly the one that came with this package. I mean, probably going to break something anyway when I'm assembling this. This is rather weak stuff. And as I said, I do have a 3D printer, so probably just make a new part if it actually breaks beyond all repair. Ah, you see here we got some more that look like washers. You can leave in the comments if you think this is even worth doing. Probably be more interesting once I get to the electronics. But then I suppose some people might find this interesting. As I said, you can always just jump over and not watch the video at all. If one doesn't find it interesting. So, keep that part. Let's do the next one. That's one important thing. Don't believe the price they tell you that's the original, what you got discount, because it actually doesn't mean anything. So I mean, you need to like look at what they're selling and say, okay, am I prepared to take the risk and pay? And usually, if the price difference between what they pretend to be the real price and what you're actually paying is very large, then it's probably going to be bad quality. So just be prepared that you won't get exactly what's in the picture. And it's okay. I think it's okay. I mean, if I do look at things that like. What did I pay for this? So it's like, I think I paid $40 for the whole thing. So I mean, yeah, okay. At least I get an Arduino Uno, I get some electronics, get some screws, nuts and bolts. So I mean, even if the whole thing doesn't work, which I doubt that it will not work. I mean, I'm a maker enough to be able to redo it. Like, to get it to work. I actually don't need their instructions. But I will actually try and follow their instructions and build it up. Because I would just like the basic version to run like they had spec'd. And then I wouldn't mind trying to get it to work with, like, for example, the Circuit Python, because I actually do have the Cricket shield, and the Cricket shield is supposed to be for being able to control robots, and you can program it with Python. So I would actually like to give that a try. So first is to get this assembled, make it work with the potentiometers and the Arduino setup, and then see if I can move it over to Circuit Playground, which actually works with Arduino code also, so one can actually boot up the system with Arduino code, and then one can move over to Circuit Python afterwards. So I mean, if one wants to get it electronically working correctly, so one can make it actually work electronically first, and then when it works electronically with the Arduino code on the Circuit Python, then one can actually move over, reprogram it in Python. Well, that might be an interesting project. Actually, it is, as a general idea, as a general project. If that's scrapped in there, it's not a part. Did I put anything else in here? It's not a part. So I'm putting here on this pile, I'm putting everything that I think is a part. And then I got another pile over the side here, where I have everything that I don't think support. I'll keep them anyway in a separate box until this is assembled. Something broke. No, it was actually not a part, it was this. Darn, this tape is not easy to cut. I might need to change the blade on this X-Acto knife I have, because I have used it for lots of things like PLA plastic, and then it gets all worn out. That's probably not in the best shape. I mean, the only thing that gets ripped off when you rip the paper off is actually the first layer of this cardboardy type material. So it's probably not the end of the world if one does rip it. Like, just purely from an engineering perspective. Probably will not kill the system. So it should be. I wouldn't say this could put up with a lot of strain on any of these components. As I said, these couldn't be templates for making better parts. One could even make it out of metal. Just use these as templates. And if you have a really nice friend who actually happens to own a metallic cutting laser or even a water jet, then you can actually ask nicely for them to make you new parts, because actually making the CAD models for these would probably not be that difficult. And it is possible to use some photographic methods also to zap the design into the machine. Probably do it the one we just select specific parts to be more robust. Not all of them. Probably be able to survive without making everything from metal. More. Okay, one more part left. Actually cut out was thinking of running this with background music on and not me talking. Can put it in the comments what people think. Should I just have background music running? But I think I made some comments that might be useful. Like, for example, this paper stuff ripping. That you can see the tape when you look at it at an angle. And stuff, so I suppose one would lose some valuable information if I just put background music on it. Wow, fine. So, let's push that out. So, I think I got all the parts out of this one. Yeah. And what I think I'll do is I'll make several videos, so this will be like part 1 of the process. So then one can actually, people can jump to the video, to the section of the build that they would be interested in. So if somebody's not interested in watching me taking these parts out, then they can jump directly to some other section of the build. And I don't know if I'll be able to do this all in one go. I might need to jump into some other activity in between building this. I have several maker projects plus personal and work life to deal with. So we'll see. I have to keep things practical. Maybe I should like hire 10 employees. Yeah. Then I need some Patreon backers. Probably wouldn't have an office in where I live. It's too expensive to hire people. Yeah, I watched the video about one of the world's only remaining pinball manufacturers. He had a factory in China. And he had an interesting comment that he wasn't actually there due to the fact that factory building rent was cheap or that the salaries were low. So basically China, as it is now, if you want to have qualified personnel, you actually need to pay for them. Or they want to be paid. But the biggest difference was access to qualified personnel. Plus, which we've kind of lost in the so-called Western world, is easy access to sub-manufacturing. So he could get everything from wood parts, metal parts, plastic parts. You know, he just makes the drawings, and then there are small manufacturers that are equipped with all kinds of equipment to be able to laser cut stuff and CNC stuff and mold stuff as per drawings. And that, if I tried to do it where I live, running some kind of a small manufacturing process, it would be prohibitively expensive, or it would not be possible to find manufacturing capacity or know-how to do those stuff, because all that machinery and know-how has been moved to China. But one could, however, if one thinks positively and wants to run some kind of a business based on that kind of a model, and one could have a subsidiary. I think it would be advisable to have a subsidiary in China, and then possibly India, depending on what one is making. Industry specific, I suppose. A subsidiary idea, so that one actually does some of the stuff in the Western world and then the rest in Asia. There is, however, something that needs to be worked on in the Asian world, and that's consistent concepts of delivery time and quality are issues that they have still a problem with. Consistent quality and consistent delivery time. It's not so self-evident that one can get the stuff when one wants it exactly, and with the quality that one has contracted, with consistency which one expects in the Western world. That's why we still have manufacturing in the Western world, quite a lot of it actually. And sadly, even if they make good stuff, then it's like, you know, that they should be able to, when we're talking about, they should have a certification chain for their quality. And that's usually when you buy lots of measurement equipment from China, for example, then the certificates you get with the measurement equipment, it can be a bit ridiculous. Some local guy at a factory signed a piece of paper that has absolutely no meaning. Man, this is a bit difficult to get separated. Seems like some of these smaller parts haven't really separated as they should. Hasn't burnt through good enough. How am I going to get that out? Oh, come on. I think I might end up disassembling this. Don't know why that doesn't. Ah, now I got it. Ah, that wasn't easy. Oh, here. See? Oh, I didn't rip it too much. Okay, next part. I did break the form though. Let's see, to cut through there and there. Yeah, this is a bit tricky. So, come around there, like that. Cut that out. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm not being very nice to this frame. It's all just going to crap. I suppose we don't need it, right? I think that doesn't need to be broken there. There's no way to get that tape off as far as I can see. But I actually don't think it'll make any difference for the final assembly. Oh, this is the last bit that I'm working on now. Getting pretty bored of this myself, I can tell you. But as I said, I think it's better to get all the parts disassembled out here. And then one can, when one goes to the instructions, then one can just pick up the parts and try to put them together. Yeah, why do we make videos? Why do I make videos? I don't know. It's kind of like I like working with this kind of little bit of engineering stuff. I find it very relaxing. And it's also nice to be able to exchange ideas with people about this kind of stuff. Get ideas and act on ideas. I don't know how long YouTube's going to exist. I have seen many platforms come and go during my... I mean, I basically started life before the internet exploded, so I suggest not falling too much in love with one or the other platform. Platforms come, platforms go. Policies come and policies go. Copyright stuff comes and goes. So one shouldn't get too spooked about one or the other. But one should be prepared that things will come to an end. But as long, I think YouTube's quite fun for now. But I do know that YouTube is likely to see quite a lot of more competition going forward. And the thing is that YouTube might not want to be the YouTube it is today. So maybe it wants to get rid of and kick out all small makers. Because, I mean, basically we don't bring in any big bucks. We're not the big players on YouTube that produce the billions of advertising revenue. We just do this as a hobby for our own interest and for those that are also a bit passionate about the same things. So of course, to think that they would continue doing this from the goodness of their heart for the maker community is kind of a dream. But as long as one can have this level of functionality without having to pay for it, I suppose it's okay. But I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, if YouTube stops being the platform, then I can jump onto something else. And also the thing is that YouTube's so big that I think one disappears into the void in YouTube. So I don't know if for many makers or specialist content creators, I don't know if YouTube's even the correct venue to be on, because for new people to find you in the mass of YouTube and with the formulas that they use to rank you and stuff, I don't know. And this is one of the experiments I have ongoing with YouTube, is that I'm following these instructions from various how to make your channel grow, just to see if any of those activities actually help. I could take a simple example. You should have an introduction video for your channel. I have 0 views on the introduction video of my channel. So that's independent of whether it's good or bad. You know, nobody's watched it. So, you know, the things you get from these basically YouTube associates of saying, you know, you should do A, you should do B, you should do C. I don't know how much impact they have, but I'm going to continue experimenting. It's kind of fun, you know, when they come out with this sort of like hit clauses, you know, this is the way you're going to be successful. It's actually kind of cool to go and test it and then see what happens. I thought this was the I think the introduction video was kind of cool. You know, so you actually do the effort and you make your introduction video. It's like it has the least views of all your videos. You know, I have like bucket loads of videos that have more views than the introduction video. But Join the club. I was actually thinking of maybe. I mean, there are so many of these professional, like what I would call them, like PR guys or PR organizations. You know, they team up and they give lots of instructions and advice how to grow your channel, and then yeah, it's like then one goes ahead and implements their ideas, and then one just follows and nothing happens. So as I said, that the downfall of YouTube for small creators will ultimately be the fact that there will be there is quite a conglomerate of different types of other platforms which are better for targeted audiences, like Discord and others. I'm not sort of marketing Discord, but I mean, you know, it's a similar kind of idea where you can set up your own group and you can have discussion forums, and then you can post your videos and create sort of more dedicated and personalized and more like closed access. And that's also Patreon is another. I'm using Patreon also because I was advised to, you know, if you are going to be successful, create a Patreon page. And then you go to Patreon and they give you another set of instructions, like, you know, do this to be big, do that to be big. So then I sort of like, okay, yeah, I can do this, I'll test it. And then like nothing happens. I mean, the thing is that if you make content and absolutely nobody finds it ever, and nobody watches it, it doesn't matter how good you are as a small creator, you're not going to get anywhere, because nobody's going to ever, number one, nobody's going to find you, and nobody's going to watch you. I mean, I'm not complaining. I do this as a hobby, so it's not like my monthly income is dependent on if I'm a success on YouTube or not. But I do think that it's yeah. So this sort of like what YouTube's being accused of is like removing people's subscribers and trying to kick out non-value added YouTubers with various possibly questionable, sometimes questionable reasons. I mean, I can understand YouTube also. I mean, it is a business, and it makes its business through advertising revenue. And I mean, a platform that is so open and popular and so international that actually lives on advertising revenue from mega advertisers that have billion budgets. I really don't think they need small creators messing up their clean business. So we'll see. Maybe, you know, I'm not like banking on the fact that YouTube will be a platform that will be the might for the sort of specialist creators in the future. I might be wrong, but you know, the world never stays static, and as I said, I've seen platforms come, I've seen platforms go. I like YouTube. I think it serves my purposes. I can very much create content on it for people I would like to interact with, and I hope that everybody watching me would like to also participate on YouTube and possibly even on Patreon. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to ramble about the issue of professional instructions, how to make your channel grow and be the biggest in the world. Like, hello. The fact of the matter is that if somebody searches on YouTube, and you will be sub-indexed so that you will never be found, and your videos will never be watched. You won't grow, you won't get anywhere, you just disappear. So yeah. So sometimes I think that it probably would be better to move off to a platform that's a little bit more personalized and dedicated. I don't think Facebook is the ultimate solution either. I am on Facebook also, not with this channel, but privately. I actually like YouTube better than I do Facebook. Yeah, Facebook would be better for interaction. Okay, now I'm going to call this part 1, and part 1 was to get these parts separated. I'll put them in a separate box now, and then I think I will actually download the referenced instructions, which are here. Where was it? Maybe see the URL there. So that's just anybody can download it, and then I'll have a look and see what is the next step, like which part 1 we'll want to build first, and then I'll like make. Yeah. As I said, I might jump into something else in between here, but I'll make like part videos. I won't say in like how many parts, but I'll just call this one will be called part 1 with some name. I haven't invented it yet. And yeah, and then if there would be an interest for a live stream, just let me know in the comments. Can maybe make one of the more interesting parts into a live stream. Maybe the testing part, like actually running it at the end, or something like that. Yeah. Okay, it was nice talking. See you in the next one.